on your calculator, this one will probably be the same because it's given us the z-score. But a lot of times when we do the formulas and we round, your calculator does its own rounding system, so they're a little bit more exact. If you do it on the calc, again, second bears, number 2. Now, your lower limit, keep it at negative 999. This is your upper limit. Put your z-score here. Come down here. For the z-scores, this has to be 0 and 1. And paste. Or use your table. Round this to 4 places. Just remember to round it. Don't give me the whole screen. Round it to 4 places. If you find it easier, I find them sometimes just easier. The one I like is the in-between, because that has a lot more to do. To the right, also, if you're doing to the right of this, let's do to the right. If you're doing area to the right, it takes care of it because you set where your limit is. Your lower boundary is now that z-score. And I have no problem with you using your calculator or your table. It does the 1 minus for you. If you do it by hand, make sure you look it up, do the 1 minus. Or look up the opposite part. And again, use your graph to say, this has to be bigger than 50%. If I wanted to, I could look up the positive 0.57. It's got the same area under the curve. If you do that, just tell me you looked up the positive 0.57, and then you didn't subtract from 1. And in between, find your areas, subtract your areas. Do not subtract your z-scores. Good? Simple enough? You're going to have a couple of questions like this. Simple enough. And then we'll do a couple that look like this. So, we look for scores to find your z-scores for these. They give you the mean, they give you the standard deviation. You need to know your z-score formula. Okay, I need the z-score on this, not the area. So you can't use your calculator for this one, because your calculator is going to give you the area. I need the z-score. So you guys have to know the one formula that I need you to remember is your z-score formula. But if you use your graph as your guideline, if 17 is over here, then my z-score has to be negative. Subtract the smaller minus the larger, divide by the standard deviation. If you subtracted the mean minus the standard deviation, the z-score would kind of be off the chart. So that kind of gives you a hint. So the mean and the x value, if you want it to be negative, smaller minus larger. If you want it to be positive, larger minus smaller, and divide by your standard deviation. So if I need the z-score, you can't use your calculator for that. Okay? Everybody good with this? Everybody can do this. Okay. And then last, I gave you 33. You're going to write your probability statements. Don't forget your probability statements. If x is less than 200, that's what I want to see. Don't put a z in there. That's not your z-score. You're going to find me your z-score, then you're going to find me your area. If you use the calculator, you're going to bypass this whole piece in here, and you're going to say, calc, you're still going to show me your shading. I set it up so that you can make one graph and do all your shading on one. You don't have to do it 3 times if I gave you an A, B, and C. Just do it one time. And I realize you don't have different colors. Just maybe shade one way with lines across, one way with lines slanted, just so that I could see the difference. Basically, that's it. Do you guys have any questions? Everybody can do this. Pretty simple. Pretty simple.